Hello guys, welcome to this Haxe tutorial. This is going to be a Haxe beginner series where I'm going to go through some of the basic ideas in Haxe. And in this episode we're just going to download Haxe and set up our editor. So if you don't know what Haxe is an open source language that's pretty modern. So it has a lot of features that are quite standard nowadays. And it's quite easy to learn. The benefit of writing in Haxe is that once you write your code once, you can compile it to a bunch of different platforms. So here are a couple of platforms it supports. And for example, it can compile to JavaScript code, C++ code, C#, Java, the Java virtual machine, Python, Lua, PHP, Flash, even though you might not want to do that nowadays. And it also allows you to use features that are specific to each platform. So it's quite a handy language. To download Haxe, you go to haxe.org and you click on this download button and you just select whichever one matches your platform. And in my case it's Windows 64-bit. So you download the installer, go through that process, and then once you're done, you're good to go. And then the next thing we need to download, and by the way I'll have links to all of these in the description, is Visual Studio Code. And you can probably use any text editor, but this is the one I prefer. And this is the one I'll be using in this tutorial series, so if you want to follow along it might make things easier. So you just download, again, whichever one matches your platform. And then once you've downloaded both of those, you open Visual Studio Code and you open a new folder inside of it. And you go to this side button where it says extensions. You click on that and then you search Haxe. And the extensions you'll need are Haxe, which just gives basic support, and then Haxe text style, which really makes programming in Haxe a lot easier. It adds some extra stuff that lets you see like errors in your code before you actually run it. So now once you download both of those, you might have to restart your Visual Studio Code. But what you can do now is click Ctrl-Shift-P and Initialize Project. And this creates a couple of files already for you. And we can get rid of this README file because we don't really need it. But the first folder is this .vscode folder, and what this contains is a couple of things that make developing with Haxe a tiny bit easier. So it lets us run our code and stuff. We don't really need to worry about that for now. Then in this source folder, what we have is all our source files. And right now that's only main.hx. So this is where our actual code goes. And then this build.hxml file contains arguments for our Haxe compiler. So what this means is that our main class is inside of a folder called src. So it's this one. And then our main entry point is a class called main. So it's here. And it goes into this main class and it runs a function called main. And we run it in interpreter mode, and in the next episode I'll go through the different targets you can compile to using Haxe. But for now we'll just use this, and then this just basically makes it run faster. But here's our main file, so we can go through this code quickly. So this class we specified in here that it's the one we want to run when we start the program, and this is the function inside of this class that gets run at the beginning. So whatever's in between these two brackets will get run at the beginning, line by line. So this line, trace hello world, it will just, if we just run it quickly, we have to actually open the terminal. We're going to debug. As you can see, it takes this hello world and it just prints it out. And what trace also does is it shows you where in your code, in which file and on what line it actually gets printed from, which is quite useful later on. So now that we see what this does, we could add our own line. So we write trace and then brackets, and then we need to put quotes because we're printing out a string. So we can write anything inside of here. So for example, we could write goodbye world, and then we have to close our quotes, close our bracket, and we also have to put a semicolon at the end because we have to put a semicolon after every line in the hex. And now if we run it again after saving it, as you can see, it now prints out both hello world and goodbye world. So as you can see, that's how the trace function works. And that's all we're going to do in this episode. So if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. If you have any more questions, feel free to leave a comment and I'll try my best to answer them. And please subscribe for more videos in this series. If you want to see the source code, I should have a GitHub repository at some point, which will be linked in the description. So I hope you enjoyed and see you in the next video.